Just you leave first thing in the morning?
I don't know yet, he said briefly.
He guided the pony up the steep track that led to her home, and then the cottage came into sight. Tall chimneys pointed fingers at the sky, and the many windows shone as the sun returned as if to mock her. Gwenllyn was glad to get indoors. She went immediately to her bedroom, where she changed into a comfortable gown and threw a warm shawl around her shoulders. The fire had gone out, and the house was chilly. When she returned to the sitting room, Harold was stretched out in a chair, his eyes closed. She looked at him with little interest, but she supposed he was quite handsome, in a rough sort of way. His long legs were spread across the carpet, as though reaching for the cheerful fire that was starting to blaze in the grate. He'd made himself at home, lighting the fire and seating himself before it as though he was master of the house. Gwenllyn still shivered. The air could have a chill in it even here, inside the thick walls of the cottage. Harold seemed to be quite easy with himself, and with the house. Well, he could stay for tonight, but tomorrow he would be on his way. She cared not where. All that she wanted by marrying him was a name for her baby, a record of the child's birth that didn't label the poor infant as illegitimate. And he knew that had been the bargain between them, a bag of gold for his name. Harold looked up at her as she took the seat on the opposite side of the fire. She met his eyes. "Don't get too comfortable. You're not staying." She forced a hard note into her voice.
"We'll see."
Harold straightened in his chair.
"What are we going to eat? I'm starving."
"There's bread in the bin, and cheese. If you want a meal, you can get it yourself, or walk down to the village inn. I'm not going to run around after you." He sighed, frowning in irritation.
"Have you got to be so disagreeable? I'm not asking for much. A bed for the night and a meal."
His face brightened.
"You got any bacon and eggs?"
"The food is in the cold room. Why do you want to know?"
"Well, I was thinking of cooking something easy, something to fill the ache in my belly."
He half smiled.
"This getting married lark is hard work."
If he thought she was going to be amused, he could think again. "I don't want anything," she said, and even as she spoke, her stomach rumbled.
"You got to think of that kid inside you," Harold said easily. "If you don't care much for yourself, think of the baba."
"Baby is nothing to do with you," Gwenllyn said sharply.
"No, but it's everything to do with Caradoc Jones."
He got to his feet in a smooth movement of limbs that reminded her of an untamed animal.
"I thought he was dead and gone. So did everyone else, even his father. But he was here, all along, living with you in this cosy little nest in the hills. Looked after him well, did you?"
"That's old news. It's a new year now, and a new start for me." She shook back the curls that had fallen free of the pins. "This is 1834, and in case you hadn't noticed, women are able to take care of themselves now." He looked around the elegant room.
"Aye, well set up here, aren't you? But I bet this is all some man's doing."
Gwenllyn shifted uncomfortably in her chair. He was right. The house and the money to keep it well maintained was due to her grandmother's love affair with a man above her station. But old Martha was gone now, dead and in her grave, and so was her rich lover. She pressed her lips firmly together, not wanting to admit he was right.
"Ah, hit the nail on the head, haven't I?"
"Oh, leave me alone." She moved to the fire and stood warming her hands. She felt trapped by this man, this stranger who was invading her privacy, her house, and her life. "What do you know?" She turned on him suddenly. "All you are is a common drover's hand. You don't own a single beast in your own right, do you?"
"Carry on with your harsh words," he replied. "You can't offend me. People better than you have tried."
Why did I